Welcome back, Wavesa, and today I figured we would take a little look at all the new hubbubs of things that are going around with the new points costs revealed to us with the codex coming out and all the other fun jazz are getting their points updated. So, let's get right on into it. We're going to start out with the obvious stuff, the big things, the main things, what we lost. Now, what we lost is very simple. The Arvana, which is one of the Riptide variants. It's a really cool looking one. Kind of sad. I really wanted one of those. I think it looked great, and though it never really was particularly impressive on the tabletop, so I think that's part of why it was gotten rid of. I do know a lot of people that do go for the different Riptide variants, and this was definitely one of the popular ones. After that was the Avara. This one, I was completely devastated that it went away. I remember first seeing this thing when Town Nick used it on one of his first battle reports playing Tau on Play on Tabletop. Gosh, iconic time. What a guy. And what a game that was. It was against Death Card. Shooty Death Card versus like up close personal Tau. It was hilarious. I've loved the model ever since I got into the hobby, but it's a shame now. It's not going to be able to be used, at least not in actual competitive games. Not like I really ever played competitive, but still, that flamer used to be great and perpetually been nerfed, and now it's just unusable altogether. Pretty sad. Yavara and Arvana just gone. After that, the almighty Tetra has been put out to pasture. Go figure. Old Forge World model. This thing gets the best rules in the game. And then promptly GW removes it after they sell out of the entire stock. Surprise, surprise. Oh, goodness. Congratulations, non-meta chasers. Whoever did not buy one of these, kudos to you. Good job. You were playing smarter, not harder. You didn't have to expand the range into something that was just going to be completely useless. That being said, I am coming up with a narrative campaign thing that I'm going to be doing. So I will be needing 2 of these for my narrative campaign. Gonna have to figure out how to get some of them. But I digress. Yeah, this is you're gonna have to figure that out. If anyone, has any idea of where I can get a hold of some, please let me know. Anyways, after that, the Barracuda got gotten rid of. It's a shame. Lost one of our flyers, but it's not really unexpected. After that, there were more stealth drones. Also shame, but also not unexpected. Surprise, surprise, all the Forge World stuff are getting put out to pasture. Makes you wonder what could possibly be next. Anyways, after this, we're going to take a look at what went up in price. And the Broadside went up in price. And that's not necessarily surprising. I don't know. It seems a little unnecessary. They're a good anti-tank. I don't really know why they had a price hike. And then because they weren't really overpowered. So I don't really know. It just seems a little out of place, a little odd. Not necessarily necessary. And the Riptide got a price hike as well. I felt like they were in a similar, category as the Broadside, but the Riptide went up 15 points. So I don't really know why that happened, because they were just playable once again. But, now they're 180 points. All right, I guess we're going to be doing that from now on. After that, the Breachers, they went up 10 points. They're 100 points now. They're still very strong. The points raise was reasonable. They are our basic infantry, and they have a 3+ shooting, along with Strength 6, AP -1, and they reroll all wounds against anybody on an objective. That's just a really powerful unit. Them being only 10 points more than the strike teams made sense why you'd only ever take them, because they were worth every little bit of the extra 10 points. Devish went up 10 points as well. They're very strong transport. Very good, paired very well with the Breachers. Only makes sense. Not unreasonable, but it still hurts a little bit. They were kind of like a mini Skyray with transport capacities for one turn, That made it pretty dang good, which makes sense why, it'd get a little bit of nerf. We had some of the best one-shot weapons on them, and they would carry our most deadly unit. So, not unreasonable that they got a little bit of a raise. Speaking of Skyray, the Skyray also went up a little bit in points. It was about 10 points. It will know about it. It is 10 points. They went up from 130 to 140. They are officially now better in general just than the Hammerheads. I don't know why you'd ever take Hammerheads after taking a look at this guy. Twin-linked to their weapons, twin-link sinker missiles with multiple shots. That's, I would say, their damage is higher and their strength is higher than the ion gun, and their shots are greater than the one-shot Hammerhead gun. anyway, so, the railgun. So, visually better than the Hammerheads now. Pretty good take, very well rounded, don't necessarily need to be terribly supported by any of the detachments, pretty good standalone. Probably would suggest a little bit if you were to be running your carnivore squads, like your carnivore detachment. I think it worked out pretty well there. Anyways, after that, the crew carnivores. They needed to have a points raise because they got sticky objectives, and they also acquired OC2. But let's be real, they were raised way too much, and are still too squishy. Even in their own detachment, with the 5-up invuln from shooting and the 6-up invuln in melee. These guys did not need to become 70 points. Well, no, let me rephrase. 75 points. These guys went up 20 points. They were 55 points. That is absolutely insane. Why in the world they did that is beyond me. Really, really overkill, in my opinion. So, I don't know. If you're using the crew detachment, you have to use these guys because they get all special buffs and you can take 6 units of them. So I hope you take 6 units of them. Otherwise, I can never see taking more than one squad. 75 points puts them, oh yeah, just what, 5 points underneath the strike team? And let me tell you, they don't have as good shooting capabilities as they do. I guess it's all in the sticky objectives, I suppose. I don't know. Seems a little ridiculous. That was almost like a 50% point hike on them. Craziness. After that, the Crefire Stalkers. And what did you know? They also got a points hike. I don't really know why. It makes no sense to me. I mean, a buff from the Trail Shaper makes them pretty dang good with the redeploy and being able to deploy up the field and hem your opponent in. Like, that's really cool, really impressive stuff, but I just don't see the point of it. It's kind of, I don't know, meh. Just disappointing stuff there. But c'est la vie, what are you going to do? After that, the crew Hounds went from 30 to 40 points. I know technically, as far as the Codex rules go and whatnot, or even Games Workshop says, hey, we put their points down a little bit. No, you went from 4 models to 5 models, and for that, they used to be 30 points for 4 models. Now they're 40 points for 5 models. Yay, 10 extra points for 1 model. Really? Was that really necessary? Okay, so we're going to move on from the Crute disappointments for all the points getting jacked up, and we're going to go on to Commander Farsight. Really good stuff, Commander Farsight. He got his 2-up save and 2 extra wounds, so now he's on the same stat line as an Enforcer, but obviously he moves farther than the Enforcer. I think he should get the Cold Stars mobility with the Enforcer's durability, get the best of both worlds, and because of that, he got a little boost in his points cost. He's now up to 105. Completely reasonable. That's about 15 points more than what he was when he was at 90. Can't complain about that. He got the good stat boost. It always is a really big feel bad when you have a guy in a battle suit who's like your awesome commander and you're fighting somebody, and with chainsword attacks with AP -1, you're pushed up to your invuln. Really? Really? This guy's going to have a 50-50 shot just from a chainsword? That doesn't seem too Commander Farsight to me. 2-up save, definitely best way to go. After that, you've got the Cadre Fireblade. I find most characters to be overpriced as is. This guy getting the 10 points boost from, what was it? Now, 40 to, what, 50? Yeah. A little bit much. I don't know why the heck we're doing that, but we are, I guess. Really, I don't know. I don't think that was necessary. They just points hiked everything else or he buffs up, so I don't know, whatever. Overall, I gotta say, looking at all this, the Breacher Fish attack with the Cadre Fireblade went up a total of 30 points. So if you had like Crute Hounds hanging out in your army and you had a Breacher Fish, like just cut your Crute Hounds out, not to mention they went up 10 points anyways, so whatever. All ridiculousness, I don't know. That seemed a little bit excessive. Like the Crute and the Breachers and the Devilfish and the Cadre all getting the points hike. It is what it is, though I do have to say that the prices for the Crisis suits are all fairly reasonable. I can't really argue with them. They're all under 200 points, which is good. The Sunforged with their 4-up invuln are rightfully placed higher, not to mention getting reroll wounds and damage against vehicles and monsters. Very reasonable. Can't argue with that whatsoever. So, and the other ones being just a little bit above 100 points, in the 130-40 range, I'd say is pretty respectable. Can't really argue with that whatsoever. After that, I do have to say there's one last thing. The CRX Riders are looking pretty dang good at 110 points. These guys are our melee bully unit, and at the previous cost, it seemed a bit overkill, especially compared to their equivalents in other armies. I'm thinking like Rough Riders or the Corn guys that are like riding the Rhino things. Yeah, these guys compared to like the Blood Crushers and Rough Riders and stuff like that. Against the Blood Crushers, they're 110 points for 3 models and 220 for 6. I think them being on the same level as that, especially because they're not as durable with the 4+ invulnerable save that the Blood Crushers have versus like in their own detachment, the 5+ to the 6+ invuln. And they are lower toughness, but they do have more wounds. So I'd say that this definitely, them being on the same level as these guys, is fairly reasonable, not to mention the mortal wounds output that they can do and all that other fun jazz. So it's nice that the CRX Riders got their points deducted enough that they're on level with other melee cavalry units and are actually going to be fairly useful for us in game, hopefully. I can't wait to take them out for a spin, even though I don't own any. We'll figure it out, though. It'll be great. We'll get a battle report out. Anyways, those are all just the new updates to the points and the things that are going on. So, yeah, let me know what you think, if certain things got hiked up that unnecessarily were hiked up, or if you think other things need to have points cuts, or other things need to have points raised more than what they were. Something that's overpowered that, shouldn't have the points cost they do. I'd say for this, the biggest winners were by far the stealth suits. These guys maintained their points cost and got an addition of reroll ones to guided units. Now you got a unit that's the same points as last time, gives you reroll ones to hit, and reroll ones to wound. Beautiful. Definitely the best and biggest winners from this entire change. Anyways, I'd like to thank my patrons for sponsoring this video. The New Vivek, Samger, Ryan Hall, David Polilio, K-Mag, Jonathan Patino, Chris F., Mark, Magnus Thorody, and created by Philip. Thank you all very much, gentlemen, for keeping the lights on out here and making it so I can keep doing all the Tau stuff that you want. And we're going to be having so much fun in the future. We're going to have more videos, more things to do, and the narrative campaign will get off the ground. I promise you. It's going to be great. It's going to be the summer of the Tau narrative campaign. I don't really know when we're going to do the live stream for it just yet, but it'll happen, I promise. Anyways, thank you all for watching, and I hope your day goes for the greater good, and God bless.